Good morning, cadets. Now we'll learn about a very important concept, that is specific heat and one more, heat capacity. Suppose you have taken a vessel full of water, a vessel filled with water, and you have kept it for heating. As we start heating the water in the vessel, as the time goes, as it is heated, you will come to know slowly the bubbles rise, and then temperature rises, water becomes more and more hot. Finally, you will find bubbles rising more and more, and entire water getting turbulent, and the water gets boiled up. You will find the boiling of water. Now we are discussing what are the factors on which the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of a substance depend. What are the factors on which quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of a substance depend? On what factors the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of a substance depends? To understand this, let us take first 2 liters of water. Suppose I have taken 2 liters of water in a container at room temperature and keep it for heating. Using the burner, keep it for heating. Note down the temperature using the thermometer. Right? Heat it until the temperature rises by 20 degrees Celsius. Let us say. Initially, let us say the water is at 20 degrees Celsius. Now, after heating, note down the time for heating up to 20 degree rise in temperature. Means total temperature now becomes 40 degrees Celsius. So, for 20 degree rise in temperature, for 2 liters of water, let T be the time taken. Using a stopwatch, note down this time taken to raise its temperature by 20 degrees Celsius. Right? Now, turn off this. Now again take same quantity of water, same 2 liter of water in the second step. Now heat it again using the burner, heat it again. This is the symbolically I have on the burner. Heat it again. Now heat it for double the rising temperature. Say about now it is 20 degrees Celsius here. Now suppose I am heating it until 40 degree rising temperature. Not all the time. Obviously, time taken will be double the time taken in this case. Since the temperature rises, temperature rise in the first case was 20 degree, now it is 40 degree. We have to double the temperature by heating it more and more. So, time taken is also double. Now, time taken will be twice the earlier temperature, earlier time taken. It will be 2 times, because we are increasing the temperature not by 20 degree, we are increasing same quantity of water, separated different water, by 40 degrees Celsius. So the amount of heat supplied here in this case will be actually doubled. So amount of heat required to raise the temperature depends on the temperature. more the temperature you want to heat, more is the heat required. So amount of heat required depends on change in temperature. This is first observation. First observation. Now let us see the second observation. In this second observation, first we have heated 2 liter of water. Now you take 4 liter of water. Of water and keep it for heating. Now again note down what is the time required, what is the time for which the temperature rises by 20 degrees Celsius again, as we have done in the first step. 20 degree rise in temperature. Now we have doubled the quantity. Earlier it was 2 liter, now it is 4 liter. So obviously time taken will be double. If it is T here, here it is 2T. So to rise the temperature by same 20 degrees Celsius for 4 liter of water. 4 liter of water, time taken will be 2 times T. Symbolically I am writing 2 times T. So for 4 liter of water, you need to heat it still more. So second observation is that as we increase the quantity from 2 liter to 4 liter, heat required will also be increased by 2 times. So heat supply or heat required to raise the temperature depends on quantity, depends on the mass of the substance. Depends on the mass of the substance. When it was 2 liter, it took time T. Now it is when it is 4 liter, it takes double the time. It means double heat is required. So heat required depends on mass. Heat required depends on mass. That is second observation. Here in this case, heat required depends on temperature. This is first observation. Temperature difference. Third one, instead of water, now you take oil. Take 2 liter of oil. Two liter of oil. Now it is not water. Now heat it to raise the temperature by say 20 degrees Celsius. To raise the temperature by say 20 degrees Celsius. Now note down the time using stopwatch. Say 20 degree rising temperature. So in order to increase the temperature of 2 liter of oil, like mustard oil you can take or any edible oil you can take, or coconut oil also one can take, different from water, oil. Now we will note that time taken to raise the temperature of 2 liter of oil will be shorter. Time taken will be shorter. Time taken here is shorter because we have changed the substance. So from these three observations, from these three activities, we conclude that the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of the substance depends on amount of temperature, that is change in temperature, amount of mass and nature of the substance. When we change the substance, the time required for the same change in temperature changes. Now here in this case it is shorter. So we now conclude that heat required, if you just denote it by delta Q, directly proportional to change in temperature. heat required directly depends on change in temperature. More the change in temperature for the same quantity, more is the heat required. Heat required is also directly proportional to amount of substance. More the mass of substance, more is the heat required. Less the mass of substance, less is the heat required. And one more quantity is nature of substance. Directly proportional to nature of substance. This nature of substance will be followed by a characteristic quantity called as specific heat. That's what we are going to learn now. I think you got the point from these three observations, three steps. First one, second one, third one. In the first case, 2 liters of water, first it is raised by 20 degrees Celsius. Time is noted down, that will be T. Same 2 liters of water, another sample of water, 2 liters of water. When the temperature is now raised by 40 degrees Celsius, 2 times. Time taken will be double. Time taken will be twice. So here it requires 2 times the heat supply. In the second step, we have taken 4 liters of water instead of 2 liters, double quantity, 4 liters of water. We have increased the mass. When we have increased the mass of substance, time required to raise this temperature level by same temperature level, 20 degrees Celsius. Now it is 2 times. Means when we have doubled the amount of substance, heat required is also doubled for change in temperature, same change in temperature. After changing the substance from water to oil, here it is water. These are all the examples of water. 2 liters water, here it is 4 liters water, here it is 2 liters oil. By taking the different substance, we come to know that heat required will be different now. It depends on the nature of substance and the characteristics quantity of this substance. That characteristic property of that substance is determined by quantity called as specific heat. Now we will learn about what is specific heat. So now I am writing these factors. Heat required, to change the temperature, depends on delta Q. Delta Q is the heat required to change the temperature. It is directly proportional to change in temperature, directly proportional to mass of the substance. Clubbing together, we write directly proportional to m into delta T. Now if we take out this proportionality sign, we get delta Q is equal to m into small s. We write the notation by small s into delta T, where this small s is a constant and is called as specific heat, where small s is constant dependent on the nature of substance. It is a constant dependent on the nature of substance and it is characteristic of that particular substance called as specific heat of substance. Specific heat of the substance. So we get very important relation, delta Q is equal to ms delta T. Let's call this equation number 1. This specific heat S depends on the value of this specific heat S depends on the nature of substance. So now we can define what is specific heat. small s is equal to delta Q by m into delta T. Delta Q divided by m into delta T. So we can define now what is specific heat. Specific heat is now defined as amount of heat required per unit mass to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Amount of heat required per unit mass to raise the temperature of that substance by 1 degree Celsius. This is called as specific heat. Now we will define the amount of heat required per unit mass, because m is there in the denominator, you put m equal to 1. For example, if I will write it, if m is equal to 1 unit mass and delta T is equal to 1, then what happens? S becomes equal to delta Q. S becomes equal to delta Q. That's how I define now specific heat of a substance is defined as amount of heat required per unit mass to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Temperature of the substance by 1 unit. 1 unit of temperature means 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Change in temperature is equal to 1 degree Celsius, which is also equal to change in temperature of 1 Kelvin. Please remember, it is delta T. Okay, delta T equal to 1 degree Celsius is same as delta T equal to 1 Kelvin. Both are same. So this is called as specific heat of the substance. It is a characteristic constant for a given material. Specific heat is a characteristic constant for a given substance. It differs from substance to substance. That's how we have written the specific heat depends on the nature of the substance. Okay. Now I will write some of the values of specific heat. In this we are now defining one more quantity, that is heat capacity. Heat capacity can be defined as specific heat into mass. If you take this mass multiplied by specific heat, then we get heat capacity. That is amount of heat required to raise the temperature of any amount of substance, not per unit mass. Amount of heat required of any given amount of substance by 1 degree Celsius is called as heat capacity of that particular substance. So heat capacity will be just delta Q by delta T. There will not be M. M is taken to the left hand side. Then it becomes heat capacity. Okay. Heat capacity has a different notation. It will be denoted by capital S. Okay. Now first I will write what is SI unit of specific heat. SI unit of specific heat. You see, specific heat is denoted by small s. Small s is equal to delta Q by M delta T. Okay. Delta T can be given capital delta T. Capital delta capital T. Both are same. So SI unit of heat is joule. in the denominator is kg, so it becomes per kg, joule per kg. And SI unit of temperature, change in temperature is Kelvin, joule per kg per Kelvin. So this is the SI unit of specific heat. Okay. Now from this we will learn what is heat capacity. Heat capacity is denoted by C. Okay. Heat capacity is denoted by capital S. Capital S is equal to, take this m to the left hand side, it becomes m into small s. So if you multiply this with m, we get delta Q by delta T. So delta Q by delta T, this gives us what is known as heat capacity. So SI unit of heat capacity is, you see there is no mass here, so it will be joule per Kelvin. Joule per Kelvin. So we will define now what is heat capacity. Again, heat capacity is defined as amount of heat required to raise any amount of given substance by temperature 1 degree Celsius. Amount of heat required for any given mass of substance amount of heat required for a substance to raise its temperature by unit quantity by 1 unit. Temperature by 1 unit means either 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Therefore, it is measured in terms of joule per Kelvin. So, it is also product of mass and specific heat. So, is called as heat capacity. So, from this comparison, we can write heat capacity of a substance is equal to mass into specific heat. Mass into specific heat. That is equal to m into s. So heat capacity, remember, is denoted by capital S, whereas specific heat is denoted by small s. That is the difference. Okay. Now let us understand what is the meaning of specific heat and heat capacity, right? Meaning of specific heat is, for example, let us look at this. If we take 1 kg of water, 1 kg of water is equal to 1 liter of water. Okay. 1 kg of water, if its temperature is to be raised by 1 degree Celsius, then amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kg of water by 1 degree Celsius is called as its specific heat. That is, while raising the temperature. In the same way, if the same water which is having high temperature, suppose water is now having high temperature, suppose water is now at 40 degrees Celsius, let us suppose water is now at 40 degrees Celsius. Now it is kept for cooling. When it is kept for cooling, the temperature starts decreasing. the temperature of a hot substance is decreasing means what? It is giving off heat. It is releasing heat to the surrounding. It is releasing heat or giving off heat to the surrounding. So in that case, you can define amount of heat released by a unit mass of the substance by losing temperature by 1 degree Celsius, by falling temperature by 1 degree Celsius. That is also called as specific heat. Whether the amount of heat is absorbed while heating or amount of heat is released while cooling. In both the cases, we use the same term, that is specific heat. It means if you are heating the water, means the substance absorbs the heat. In the previous examples, we kept 2 liters of water on a burner and the temperature of water is raised by say 20 degrees Celsius. It means what? Water has absorbed the heat. After absorbing the heat from the source, the temperature of water rises by 20 degrees Celsius. If the same hot water is now kept for cooling, take out the burner and keep the same vessel for cooling. Slowly the temperature starts falling. The temperature starts decreasing. Mercury level starts decreasing in the thermometer. When the temperature is decreasing, then the heat content of that water is released to the surrounding which is at lower temperature. So in that case also we define amount of heat given off by 1 kg of mass of that substance by 1 degree Celsius. It is also called as specific heat. So in general, we can define specific heat as the amount of heat absorbed or amount of heat given off per unit mass per degree change in temperature is also called as specific heat. Okay. So heat capacity is for any amount of substance. Here it may be 2 liters of water, or it may be 4 liters of water, or it may be 6 liters of water. Then mass of that substance multiplied by specific heat gives us heat capacity. Specific heat is for per unit mass. Specific heat is for per unit mass. And heat capacity is for any given amount of mass. Mass multiplied by specific heat gives us heat capacity. That is the only difference. Okay. Now I will list some of the substances and we will study the nature of the substance and its specific heat. Then you will come to know how the specific heat value differs from substance to substance and which one is having highest value of specific heat. Now I have listed some of the substances and their respective specific heat values from the data. See, first I have listed for the metals. Aluminium has 900 joule per kg per Kelvin, copper 386 joule per kg per Kelvin. Like that, silver 236, tungsten 134, mercury 140, iron 450 joule per kg per Kelvin, water 4186 joule per kg per Kelvin, ice 2060 joule per kg per Kelvin, kerosene 2118. Kerosene is a fuel, as you know. It is also kind of oil. Kerosene 2118 joule per kg per Kelvin. Edible oil 1965 joule per kg per Kelvin. Glass 840 joule per kg per Kelvin. Out of all these, if you look at the one which is having highest specific heat is water. The water has highest specific heat. The water has highest specific heat value. This has got a very significant role in the nature. It means in order to just raise temperature of 1 kg of water by 1 Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius, it requires nearly 4200 joule of energy. Whereas if you look at mercury, in order to raise the temperature of 1 kg of mercury by 1 Kelvin, it requires only 140 joule of energy, 140 joule of heat energy. Aluminium requires 900 joule of heat energy in order to raise the temperature of 1 kg aluminium by just 1 degree Celsius. So that is how we understand the meaning of the specific heats. The water has highest value of specific heat. It means in order to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water or 1 kg of water by just 1 degree Celsius, it requires 4200 and almost 4200 joules of heat. Suppose you have taken 2 liters, then its heat capacity becomes 2 times this. 2 liter, 2 kg into 4200. 2 into 4200 means it becomes 8400 joule for 2 kg. For 10 kg, 4200 into 10 kg of water or 10 liters of water. So it becomes 41,860 joules. So much of heat is required in order to just raise its temperature by 1 Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius. That's why water is used as a coolant. It means in order to raise its temperature, it requires so much of heat that will be required to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. In the same way, in order to lose its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, in order to decrease its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, it will be giving off that much of heat. That's why water is used as a coolant in the automobile radiators, so that it can absorb as much amount of heat as possible and slowly its temperature rises. That's why water is used as a coolant. And also water is used in the hot water bag. No other liquid is used. Hot water bag, whenever we get injury, say muscle cramp and all, a hot water bag is suggested. We keep hot water in the bag and keep it on the place where it is having the muscle cramp or muscle injury. So hot water, slowly it cools down. Water heats up also very slowly, cools off also very slowly. This is what we are learning later on, the difference between heating up of land and the heating up of water body like lake or river or ocean. We learn land breeze and sea breeze. Water heats up very slowly and cools off also very slowly. During daytime, water heats up very slowly. So if you are moving around a water body like a lake or a river, you will be having a cool breeze. Although during daytime it's very hot around us, but if you are very close to a river or a lake, you will be getting cool breeze because water is still at a lower temperature. It heats up very slowly. But after sunset, what happens? Cooling of the water takes place. Water is already heated, then cooling of water takes place very slowly because of its very high value of specific heat. Slowly cooling off takes place. So in the night, usually land cools off very fast. The land is consisting of rocks, right? Soil and rock, which will be consisting of all these minerals, aluminium, iron and all. Iron, you see, iron is having 450 joule per kg per Kelvin. Means iron, aluminium and all these, copper, all these are present in the land, in the rocks and the sand. So land heats up very fast and cools off also very fast. So after sunset, after 1 hour or 2 hours, slowly you will get land is getting cool. But if you are very close to water body, you will get warm breeze from the water. Cool breeze will start blowing towards the water. That is what we call as land breeze. So how is this land breeze and sea breeze take place? That is explained mainly based on the highest value of specific heat of water. It heats up very slowly, cools off also very slowly because of its highest value of the specific heat. That's why water is used as a coolant in the automobile radiators, where heat has to be absorbed so that the machinery will be cool. Okay. In the next video, we will learn about very important topic, that is calorimetry. Calorie is related to heat. So calorimetry is study of measurement of heat. How heat can be measured in terms of calories, how heat can be measured in terms of joules. That is what we learn it as calorimetry. How temperature is measured, what are the ways to measure temperature, that is what we have learned it as thermometry. Until now we were learning about thermometry. Fahrenheit temperature and Fahrenheit thermometer, Celsius thermometer, Kelvin thermometer, these are all part of thermometry. Now we will learn in the next video calorimetry. Very interesting numerical problems we will be able to solve. Thank you. Have a nice day.